All right, so it's 10 after 7, Friday morning, June 26th. We've been hiking for about 1.3 miles through Waterton Canyon. We get into the Colorado Trail. This is actually day 0 of our hike on the Colorado Trail. We're not officially starting today. We're just kind of doing a little acclimation hike in the canyon today. Probably do about 2.5 miles in and back out. We're starting our real hike tomorrow morning at Indian Creek Trailhead. Waterton Canyon is closed on weekends right now because of the coronavirus shutdown crap. But it is open this morning on a Friday morning. So we figured we'd come hike through the canyon, the official start of the trail, to just kind of say we've been in here, I guess, and get a little acclimated better to the elevation. We drove up from Louisiana, got into Denver area yesterday, staying at our cousin Vicky's house, and we're just going to do a few miles this morning, get used to the altitude up here, and we'll make our official start from Indian Creek tomorrow. All right, this is the Marsden Diversion Dam. We're at mile 3.5 on the Colorado Trail, Waterton Canyon. This isn't the Strontia Springs Dam that you see in a lot of other videos, but you come to this one first at mile 3.5. So that's where we've made it up to. That's the river going back the way we came. It's the trail going back the way we came. That's the trail up ahead.
On the trail.
All right, we are at the Indian Creek Equestrian Campground Trailhead. Let me zoom in on the sign. Pike National Forest. This is where we're starting our hike of the Colorado Trail. Really nice place. They have a bathroom here where you can go in and participate in activities if you want. All right, there's my cousin Vicky. Vicky, tell everybody hi.
Welcome to Colorful, Colorado.
And her husband Jerry.
Hello.
And we've been staying at their house for the last couple of days outside of Denver. There's Christian ready for Dad to shut the hell up so we can start hiking. We're at the Indian Creek Equestrian Campground where we're going to start our hike on the Colorado Trail out in that direction. You can see the trail there. And this is where we start. It is about 7:15 Colorado time in the morning, Saturday, June 27th. And this is the last time that Larry and Christian were ever seen in public. So
Don't say that. Don't say that.
We'll make some more video along the way. All right, so we're made it through the campground at Indian Creek now, getting on to the Indian Creek Trail, trail number 800. This will get us to back to the Colorado Trail at Lenny's Rest. We should have about somewhere between 3 and 4 miles on this trail before we get to Lenny's Rest, which is on the official Colorado Trail. So we'll be hiking, probably, I would think, take us between 1 and 2 hours to get to Lenny's Rest. It's about 7:20 this morning. So I would think probably somewhere around 9 o'clock this morning we should get to Lenny's Rest. First few miles of the trail today are going to be downhill for the most part. Going to help us ease into things by going downhill for a ways. Ease into it as far as exertion goes. But of course, downhills for me, with my old knees and ankles, sometimes it's harder than the uphills, pain-wise. But it's probably better to start off on a trail like this, downhill than it is uphill, so that we ease into things. But going through a forest area right now, and we'll shoot some more video later up the trail. All right, we're still in the Indian Creek Trail. We are 1.3 miles into it, out here in the middle of the Pike National Forest. That's the trail back the way we came from. And then we're going in this direction on the trail. It's been mostly downhill so far, kind of up and down a little, but mostly downhill. We'll continue going mostly downhill for about the next 3 miles or so. The plan is to, we just took a little break to stretch because we didn't remember to stretch before we started the hike. And my knees and ankles were kind of feeling that. So we took a little stretch break and we're about to start hiking again. We have about 2.4 miles from here till we get to Lenny's Rest, which will be the only bench on the Colorado Trail. And we'll probably stop at Lenny's Rest for about half an hour or so to take a little break and maybe eat a snack, drink some water. We'll shoot some more video up ahead. All right, we're 3 miles into our hike. We've made it up above 7,000 feet now. Still on the Indian Creek Trail. We're about a mile from where the Indian Creek Trail intersects with the Colorado Trail. We've been doing a little uphill section for a little while. Made it up on top of a ridge line and kind of starting to see some pretty cool views. Here's Christian taking a little break. We're not stopping here for very long. We want to make it up to Lenny's Rest before we take our first good break. We're going a little bit slower than probably what I had hoped to this point, because this has been mostly a downhill section, but there have been some pretty steep uphill parts of it. We've been hiking for about an hour and a half and we've come right at 3 miles. So about 2 miles an hour, which is probably going to be our average pace for the whole trip, but I was hoping we'd go a little faster than that for the segment we've been on so far, because it's mostly downhill. But right now it's almost 9 o'clock in the morning and we've come 3 miles. We're planning on hiking 12 miles today. We still have a very steep 4 mile uphill section ahead of us today. But if we can keep up with the average pace we've been on so far, we should be okay. So hopefully we continue with no problems and have a good hike for the rest of today. We'll film some more probably when we get to Lenny's Rest in a little while. All right, here we go. Just had to stop and take a little video. Another cool little view we got here. There's the trail up ahead in front of us. We are now 1/10 of a mile from Lenny's Rest, which means that will be the end of the Indian Creek Trail that we've started on this morning. And at Lenny's Rest, we will officially join back up with the true Colorado Trail. It's been a lot of little uphill sections that are kind of kicking my ass, but I'm dreading after Lenny's Rest because we start a 4 mile section that's almost all uphill and a lot steeper than the climbs we've had already. But the payoff for those uphill climbs is you end up every now and then coming to views like this, and it kind of makes it worth it when you see views like that. But we're going to take a break when we get to Lenny's Rest, just up ahead. All right, here it is. We finally made it to Lenny's Rest. This is the bench at Lenny's Rest. It's pretty sunny, so I'm not sure how good you can read the plaque. But this is, we are officially on the Colorado Trail now. This is where we're off the Indian Creek Trail now. This is where the Indian Creek Trail meets up with the Colorado Trail at Lenny's Rest. And this is kind of a pretty big landmark spot. You know, if you watch any Colorado Trail videos, this is kind of the first resting point, even coming out of Waterton Canyon. It's the only bench on the trail. Back down this little side trail here that Christian just kind of went walking down is the first official campsite on the Colorado Trail. There's Christian coming back. We're not going to camp there. I mean, it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. It took us about 3.5 hours to get to this spot. We're about 4 miles into the hike now. Kind of trying to take it slow on the first day to ease our legs and lungs into the trail. And I know me especially, I'm not looking forward to the next stretch of trail because we go downhill a little bit further, probably about another 1/10 of a mile. And then after that, we go pretty much straight uphill for almost 4 miles straight. That's going to be a pretty tough section and probably the hardest part of our whole hike because we're not used to it and we're still getting our trail legs in. So that's going to be pretty tough stretch. We're hoping to get 12 miles in today and get to the South Platte River. But based on the time it's taken us to get to the point we're at now, to Lenny's Rest, I really thought we'd be here a little earlier than we are. So, you know, if we don't make it all the way to the river tonight, we just don't make it that far. But I hope we do, because I want to try to stay pretty close to our planned schedule so that we don't run out of food before we get to our resupply point at Rolling Creek. But we're going to take a break here. What's that?
Speaking of food, show them what you got us to eat for our first snack.
Yeah, okay. So Christian is pulling out our first snack here. We're gonna take a little snack break, and what we got for snack number one, our morning snack, is a tortilla with pepperonis and what is it? Honey peanut butter?
Yeah.
Yeah, peanut butter with honey and pepperonis in a tortilla.
I haven't tried it yet.
You what?
I haven't tried it yet.
He hasn't tried it yet. I have, and it sounds like it would be nasty to mix peanut butter with pepperoni in a tortilla, but it's actually really good. And I'm thinking it's going to taste even better right now for us being out on a trail. I tried it at home, and it was pretty good. It'll taste even better out here. But we're going to take a break here, eat a snack, drink a little bit of water, take our shoes off and let our feet air out, and kind of rest for about 30 minutes. And then we'll start up on the trail again, and we'll shoot some more video a little bit later. Probably when I'm using a video as an excuse to take a break and catch my wind after part of that uphill section. I'm really dreading that right now, but we'll check back in later. All right, so we just left Lenny's Rest, back on the trail, took a little break, had a little snack, drank a little bit of water, got my shoes off for a little while, feeling all refreshed. And we're gonna be going downhill now for about 8/10 of a mile till we get to Bear Creek. When we get to Bear Creek, we're gonna stop for a little while and kind of camel up, drink as much water as we can, and then filter some water from Bear Creek into our water bottles, because after Bear Creek, the next really reliable water source isn't going to be until we get to the South Platte River, which is I think about 8 miles past Bear Creek, and we'll be doing the first 4 miles of that 8 miles almost straight uphill, probably into that forest area there. You can see the top of those trees is where we're hoping to be sometime this afternoon, and then we'll head back down to the South Platte River from there. Stop right here and kind of get a view of this. It's pretty cool views up here on the Colorado Trail. After about a year's worth of planning, we're actually here and letting it kick our asses going up and down these mountains. So we'll check back in when we get to Bear Creek and start filling ourselves up with water again. All right, so we've made it to Bear Creek now. I'm gonna take a little break here. This is gonna be our last water source for pretty good ways, about 8 miles. So we're gonna drink at least a liter of water here and filter a couple more liters of water to pack up, and then we'll be going very steep uphill climb for about the next 4 miles till we get to the high point of segment 1. There's a trail up ahead. Once we turn around that corner, it gets really steep for the next 4 miles. This is back the way we came from. We're still hoping to be able to get to the South Platte River tonight to camp there. But once we finish this 4-mile climb ahead of us and get to the high point, we'll kind of reassess that and see if we can make it to the river. All right, we've hiked about 7.5 miles now. Been basically all uphill, very steep in some parts for about the last 2 miles or so. We still have about 2 miles left to climb to get to the high point on the trail today. Stopping to take a lunch break. It's already 2 o'clock, so it's taking us a little longer to get up to where we're at than what we had hoped, but you know, it's first day of the trail, getting used to the elevation, and I'm feeling my age right now, having to stop a lot during these uphill sections. We're gonna take a lunch break here, let our feet air out a little bit, get some Gatorade gel in us, and that'll hopefully energize me enough to make it these next couple of miles up to the high point. And then from there, we're hoping to be able to get to the end of segment 1 at the South Platte River to camp there tonight. From the high point, that'll be 4 miles down to the river. So we've hiked 7.5 miles so far. We've got about another total of 5 miles to go, somewhere in that area, to get down to the river, but we've got to make some more climb first. So still some hard stuff ahead of us, but hopefully after we eat lunch and put some Gatorade in us, I'll feel a little better and can make it up this last uphill stretch before we start heading down to the river. All right, this is our view for now. We've done a little over 8 miles so far today. We've been climbing since Bear Creek. We've come up from Bear Creek about 1,100 feet, a little over 1,100 feet. We have about another 250 feet to climb to get to our high point for today. And then we'll start heading downhill towards the South Platte River. There's the trail up ahead. Still got some ways to go up. There is Christian waiting for me. There's the trail behind us that we've been climbing up for several hours now. Little behind schedule from where we wanted to be, but still should be okay to make the river by tonight. Looking forward to the downhill. All right, we've hiked 9 miles, climbed 1,500 feet, and we have reached the high point of segment 1 of the Colorado Trail. There's the view from where we're at. Stop and take a little break, have a snack. That burn area out there is where we will be hiking tomorrow through segment 2. That's the view we're looking at right now from our snack spot. All right, we're getting kind of close to the end of segment 1 now. Heading down to the South Platte River. You can see the river way down there at the bottom. We have about 2.5 miles to go to get down to the river. You can see it back this way to down there. Pretty cool view right here. So just decided to take a little short video to show off the views. Here we are, South Platte River Trailhead. This is where we just came down from way up there somewhere. Up there. Came out there, crossed here. See Christian still, we've got our stuff over there, Christian walking off over there, but we just ate supper here, sitting on these little posts. And what we're about to do now, when we put our packs back on, is cross over the Goody Gaskell Bridge, which is the official end of segment 1. And across that bridge is the official beginning of segment 2. And below this bridge, you'll see in just a second, and maybe you can already hear it, that is the South Platte River that we've been looking at for about the last 4 miles coming down the mountain. We're gonna get our packs on, cross the river on this bridge, and then go down there to fill up water. And then somewhere up ahead, find a spot to pitch our tent and set up camp for the night. So, end of segment 1, we're gonna be starting very first part of segment 2 before setting up our first night's camp. Hey, little fox. Keep running, keep running. Go on, get out of here. Go on. Go on, run. Little fox. Ain't getting none of our shit tonight. This is our tent. Right alongside the river over there. I'm sure the fox will be the first of many animals coming down by the river to get something to drink tonight. Good morning, it's Sunday morning, June 28th, morning of day 2 on the Colorado Trail. Waking up next to the South Platte River, South Platte River Trailhead, which is the beginning of segment 2. Plan today is to hike about 12 miles. We're going to be going to the Little Scraggy Trailhead, or pretty close to that. We're hoping to get a little, maybe just past the trailhead at Little Scraggy. But today is the area known as the Burn segment. We'll be going uphill a lot today. Yesterday we ascended about 1,500 feet, 1,500 or 1,600. Today we'll be ascending about 2,700 feet total. So we have a lot more climb today. The total hike is about maybe a mile shorter than what we did yesterday, but we're gaining almost twice as much elevation. So a lot of uphill today and a lot of exposed area with no trees going through that burn area that was damaged by wildfires over 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Gonna be a hot one. So we're hoping to get camp packed up and get out of here as quick as we can this morning, so that we can try to beat the heat. There's our tent that we slept in last night. Christian's still in there kind of getting himself up. Really cool this morning, chilly. Had to Put on my little puffy jacket. But yeah, we're gonna finish getting our stuff together, break down camp, start cold soaking some coffee, have some breakfast, and get on the trail soon. So we'll film some more later. Our little fox in the morning down by the South Platte River where we spent the night. Hey, fox. We had a black one and a red one hanging out around here. All right, this is the way we came from. We've hiked up from the river. We've come about 1.2 miles so far. Gained about 500 feet of elevation. We're getting into the burn area now. There's the view. We're gonna keep going up ahead about another 3/4 of a mile, and we'll come to a spot where we're gonna take a break. But this is the view of where we are right now in segment 2 of the Colorado Trail. So we'll film some more in a little while. All right, still in segment 2, Colorado Trail, going through the burn area. We're kind of in one of the few foresty type areas in segment 2. We've come about 3.5 miles so far, climbed about 1,800 feet, 1,700 feet up from the river over the past 3.5 miles. Still have a little more to climb today, and we've got about another 7 miles left to hike today, but we're getting close to the top of our climb, and when it levels off, it's gonna get quite a bit easier and we'll be able to go a little faster. It's just slow going on the uphill parts because we've got to stop to catch or I have to stop to catch my breath so much. Christian does a little better than I do with it. But we're stopped for a little lunch break. Just finished eating lunch, kind of laying down. So we're kind of laying down here. You see Christian all sprawled out. That's where I was just laying. It's our lunch break spot. Filtered some more water. I think we're going to be okay with water. We still both have about 2.5 liters left, I think. And we got about 7 miles to go till we get to the fire station, 6.5 miles to go. So I'm thinking we can make 2.5 liters last 6.5 miles. But the big thing is to get through this next uphill section. The bad thing is once we get through the uphill section, in a couple more miles we'll get out of this forest and it'll be all sun for the rest of the day, like the desert. We'll video later. And it's been a long, slow climb up from the South Platte River this morning where we camped. We've come about 5 miles, climbed 1,700 feet. We're at 7,800 feet now. This is the view we're looking at. About to go back into the burn area again. We got a good view here and it's starting to rain on us. Hopefully it won't rain too bad and won't have lightning, but we're gonna move on. I need to put my rain jacket back on. Little mountain squirrel. Oh, he got away. There he is. We're experiencing one of the not so fun things on the Colorado Trail. Stuck in a thunderstorm in the burn area on the side of a mountain. We're sitting here in the only little stand of trees anywhere around here, a little below the ridge line, trying to take shelter so that we can avoid being struck by lightning. Hopefully this storm's gonna pass quick and we'll be able to get moving again. Pretty rare to get this close to a deer at home. I don't know how good you can see it on video, but about 30 yards away from a doe, she's looking straight at us. Doesn't seem to mind either. It's the view of the burn area back behind us that we've hiked through. About a mile from the fire station at Buffalo Creek now, where we'll be able to fill up on water and take a little break. We'll be about a mile and a half from the end of today's hike when we get there. Well, that's a very welcome view for us. We're coming up to the fire station that we've been trying to get to all day to refill our water. Finishing up an 11-mile stretch with no water sources on the trail. We'll be there shortly.